Hello everyone, welcome to our video 8B. 8B, how many pounds of food can gorillas eat? From the title, you can check that we're going to be talking about animals. So this is going to be a very interesting and fun lesson. As usual, we have 3 objectives for you guys. The first one, describe what animals do. The second, talk about separate things we can count. And the third, review uncountable nouns. Okay? Now, as usual, 3 recommendations you can follow. Number 1, you can pause the video at any time. The second, it's a great idea to take notes. And number 3, make sure you ask your teacher any questions, okay? I'm going to show you guys a very short video clip about animal facts that is actually titled 50 Cute Animal Facts you will find easily on YouTube. I want you to watch it and pay attention because I'm going to be asking you a few questions at the end. Here we go.
50 amazing animal facts you'll want to share. Whether you're a nature lover or just curious by nature, this video is for you. Check if you know all these bizarre facts about animals. If at least one is new for you, hit that like button. 1. The largest spiders in the world, tarantulas, can live without food for more than 2 years. 2. The nose print of a dog can be used for its identification. They're kind of like fingerprints for us humans and are absolutely unique to each animal. 3. Snakes don't blink, so don't even try to engage in a staring contest with one. 4. If you've ever wondered what the most popular name for a goldfish is, it's Jaws, and we thought we were so creative. Another thing to consider if you're thinking about getting yourself a goldfish, don't keep it in the dark. It'll turn pale. Then you'll have a pale fish. That's not quite as interesting. 5. Woodpeckers are extremely efficient. They can peck wood 20 times a second. How do they not get a splitting headache? 6. If you put a jellyfish under bright sunlight, you won't find it sometime later. That's because it'll evaporate. These creatures are 98% water.
Wow, very interesting facts about animals, huh? Now let's go back to our presentation on quantifiers. What are quantifiers? Well, we use quantifiers when we want to give someone information about the number of something. Remember that this is very commonly associated to the questions how much and how many. For example, look at the tiger at the bottom. We saw lots of tigers. Or we ate some crackers in the zoo. Both, some, and lots of are quantifiers we typically used for both countable and uncountable nouns. Now, let me show you a little chart that summarizes the quantifiers we can use with both countable and uncountable. Here at the bottom, we have a list of quantifiers that you can easily use with both. All, some, more, a lot of, enough, no, any, most, and lots of, and less. I have given you a few examples here. Like for example, we have a lot of food for the animals. Joe has lots of cows in his farm. I can't go to see the monkeys today. I've got no money. Believe it or not, no, it's a quantifier. There was a lot of food, but no water for the gorillas. Okay, so here you can notice how we can mix countable and uncountable nouns with these forms. Okay, now let's take the next slide. Some versus any. Have you ever seen this animal before? Do you know how to call it in English? The name for him is owl. O-W-L, owl. Okay, well, I'm using this little friend here as my example today. Remember, we don't normally use the quantifier some in negative and interrogative sentences. We normally use any. Like in my example, did you see any owls? I didn't see any alligators. We saw some snakes at the zoo, but we didn't see any turtles. If you notice in my last example, I'm mixing both. Some for affirmative forms and any in negative. However, we have a couple of exceptions. Remember, we can use some for offers and requests, like in, would you like some food to feed the birds? I want some bananas for the orangutan, please. Okay, so in this particular case, although it's a question, you still need to use some because it's a request, okay, actually an offer. Okay, now let's talk about quantifiers with countable nouns. These are specifically used with countable nouns. You cannot mix them. Okay, look at the chart. Some quantifiers can be used only with countable nouns: many, several, each, both, either, neither, few, and fewer. We also have some very popular forms called colloquial forms, especially used in speaking, like a couple of, hundreds of, or thousands of. Like if you say, I saw a couple of foxes in the zoo, or there were thousands of people at the animal shelter. You see, very common expressions for countable. Okay, now let's talk about the opposite, uncountable. Which are the quantifiers typically used with uncountable forms? The ones in red: not much, a bit of, a little. Like in my example, would you like a little rice for the pigeons? Could I have a bit of water, please? Uncountable both. However, once again, we also have very common expressions like used with abstract nouns. Abstract nouns are time, money, trouble, and once again I highlighted those in red: a great deal of and a good deal of. Like when you hear someone saying, that new aquarium will probably cost a great deal of money, or he spent a good deal of time feeding the penguins. Okay, once again, these are common expressions in conversation. Now let's practice. Here I'm giving you 5 sentences for you to think about the best quantifier to fill in the gap. I want you to look carefully at the examples given and choose only few, little, or a lot of. Remember, you need to be careful with the meaning of each sentence. You can pause the video for a minute, try to answer on your own, and then you can play the video once again to check your answers. I'll be helping you with the first one. She eats blank meat, but very blank salads. If you notice, meat, it's an uncountable form versus salads, that's a plural countable. So you could say something like this: she eats a lot of meat, but very few salads. So just make sure you double check your other sentences. This is all for now, guys. Make sure you complete the video checking below. And if you want to check further information, here are your references. I hope you find this lesson useful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Universidad Santo Tomás, institución vigilada por el Ministerio de Educación Nacional.